The views and opinions expressed in the following program are not and do not represent the views and opinions of ZNBC.
What I would like to remind my colleagues in the Post newspaper, they call others minions. I think there are more minions in the Post who would like to twist the facts.
The foul-mouthed Cobra speaking at a media briefing on Saturday 30th September 2006 when it became crystal clear that he had tumbled to Levi Mwanawasa and the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD for the very second time. On this day, he really had issues with Namakando's post.
I take strong exception to the Post newspaper. Mr. Simon Zuka, Mr. Neo Simutani, and Professor Chanda. For the whole of September, they have been campaigning for MMD. The Post has issued negative stories, negative editorials. They even come and reprint them.
It is a well-known fact that the Cobra does not play his politics well. For all the time he gets into a presidential race, he cheats himself that he has already won, underrating everyone else. This is a man who actually does not know whether he is coming or going, and he seems not to realize that his mouth always puts him in trouble. Yes, his mouth, his greatest enemy. For the bad loser that the Cobra is, he was terribly upset with Namakando's post, who he accused of all sorts of things, including rigging.
The Post continues to be giving false reports, false rumors. The Post is not part of the Economic Commission, the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Where did they get the results to say MMD is going to get up to 86? How did they get the information, apart from the information which was fed to them by MMD? And they go again lying, because any experienced politician in the United Kingdom, United States of America, in Europe, anywhere with an exception of China where there are no elections, all presidential aspiring candidates must consult the top civil servant, that's secretary to the cabinet. And for them to come and issue a statement to say, I forced my way. I don't know what Mr. President Michael is all up to. I don't need to force my way. Instead, I went there at the reception. I would like to see Secretary of the Cabinet. They cleared me. They escorted me. And I had a discussion with Secretary of the Cabinet. Because one, as a member of the public, as a Zambian, and that's our office. So for them to come and say, Sata, force is this way. If I wanted to force my way, I would have forced my way in State House. Why should I force my way into the cabinet to the office? And if you look there at their report, and you look at government paper, what we expect is the government paper to distort. But the government paper has been very fair. Very, very fair. Because, for example, Zambia Daily Mail has been very consistent. The Zambia Daily Mail has been very consistent. The Times of Zambia, for a change they have changed. They are putting that thing where they are saying MMD and PF in tight race. But there we have our great Mr. Membe. The only reason why Mr. Freddie Membe is behaving that way, the only way why he's behaving that way, we know he's trying to protect Mr. Mtembo Nchito or Nchito Brothers, because he is attached to Nchito Brothers, and Nchito Brothers are involved as private prosecutors, and they have earned more money than whatever they will ever recover from the so-called plunder. Them and Tony Blair's brother, they have earned more money, and because Mr. Membe is learning to be a lawyer there, he has to defend them. His editorials. We don't need the post to be the... Where, before Judge Mandela announced the results, where did the post get the figures from? Because they went to bed much earlier than when Judge Mandela was announcing the figures. Where did they get the figures apart from MMD? I wouldn't be surprised if they are a party to the rigging. Report accurately, don't be the judges. Don't be the police, don't be the prosecutors, and don't be the judge. Report what is on the ground. And the post, I'm extremely disappointed with Mr. Freddie Membe and Mr. Amos Manfreno. They are reporting. I will not be surprised if they are writing these things from Godfrey House, from Mr. Mtembo Chitos. I will not be surprised if the editorials are written from Mr. Mtembo Chitos.
But my oh my, the Cobra went on and on.
What I would like to remind my colleagues in the Post newspaper, they call others minions. I think there are more minions in the Post who would like to twist the facts.
On this day, it seemed the Cobra had come face to face with reality, and that is why he even sent a horde of Patriotic Front PF cadres to go and sort out Namakando and whoever else at the Post newspaper offices on Winjinfumu Road in Lusaka. But today, the Cobra and Namakando have tied a very serious knot, a marriage of convenience. They at all costs want Rupia and the ruling MMD out of office, ganging up with the likes of George Mpombo, Mike Mlongoti and Sylvia Masebo. Not too long ago, they called the Cobra all sorts of names, but as for the Cobra's foul mouth, nothing good comes out of it, as evidenced at a PF rally in Lusaka's Mtendere compound on 11th July 2004.
Where does Sylvia Masebo get the brains, if I thought she has any, to say everybody, the whole Lusaka, 2 million people must all go to intercity?
One person who kind of has an insight of Masebo's political life is Alfred Njovu, a card-carrying member of the ruling MMD.
Sylvia Masebo is a very bad politician, I must say. Okay, he's a very bad politician, and you can't use the people of Zambia in vain. Her history is that she stood in Chongwe and won that seat on the Zambia Republican Party ticket. She was the only member of parliament who was elected in that political party in 2001. Okay? So she won on that party and represented the people of Chongwe in that political party.
On this day, 11th July 2004, the Cobra also tore Levi Mwanawasa apart, true to his statement that he would make Levi's life as president a nightmare.
When Frederick Chiluba decided that he was going to bring our colleague, and me I said, no, there is no way I can work with this man because I know him. This man, he can't govern, he can't rule, he's incapable. Is politically impotent. Levi did not stand time in Levi was sleeping. Alekolome minkonono. Eri abakachiba musunka. Atipaya abantu abale konkonsha panse. Eri aisa chiri mukira. No rulenda rulepona. Amleta ku State House nemishi afulungana ati niwe president apa kwambila pavula. The man surprises me, the man confuses me, but I sympathize with him when he went to India, when he was recently treated in India. There is something which the Indians failed because his brain and his mouth, they don't coordinate.
Yes, the crowd burst into laughter. Like at all the rallies before this one and those that followed, The PF leader went to town making fun of Levy's apparent illnesses, but the Cobra was quick to sue the Stand Up for Zambia news publication when it carried a front page story on his health condition. Yes, that's the Cobra for you. At the 11th July 2004 Mtendere compound rally, the Cobra also accused Levy of hanging out with conmen, allegations which the Cobra has never substantiated.
Our president has taken on one so-called businessman. One so-called businessman who conned Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And because he knows Dr. Kenneth Kaunda likes people who are passionate, to convince him, he even became a reverend of preaching for prisoners. That man came to con Frederick Chiruba, said, I'm going to bring you Carlington Base, I'll bring you ABCDFG. Today is Mwanawasa's #1 financial advisor. He has shares in JW. He has shares in Dollar Life. He has shares in KCM in Chingola. But because he doesn't know, Levy doesn't know. Levy Mwanawasa has to know. He knows whom I'm talking about. And I don't want to mention him here.
That was 2004. But many years earlier, soon after the MMD had taken over the affairs of government, after overwhelmingly defeating the United National Independence Party UNIP, the Cobra was after Panji Kaunda's blood. This was at a campaign rally in 1992 to drum up support for the MMD candidate Regina Piri in the Chadiza parliamentary by-election.
Ngati mwanipasa Panji, muzakala naye Panji 5 years as alaba mu office mwanga. Izambo kumana naye mu nyumba ya malamulo kwa sila, but kuloba mu office mwanga sanga lobe mu abore sandale. Nifuna wose ali pano. Ajiuzeko ni upande wanji wamene Panji Kaunda anaye mapo kuyimirira abantu muna muziko la Zambia. Muntu wamene alibe mutundu, si mutundu wa Chichewa, si mutundu wa Chinsenga, si mutundu wa Chiwemba, angazile mwambo wa Chiwemba. Manje usogolera Panji auchosa pati. Usogolera auchosa pati chifuka sana kalepa section. Sana kalepa blanje. Sana kalepa awodi. Muchichewa kuti. Chibaka chalepera tate nkuku singa chimeze. Usogoleri si ufumu. Usogoleri si ufumu. Yakuti mwana achokapo, tate achokapo, tulikepo mwana ai. Nga Panji ajaola kale bwana mudala nga kwalisa uyu mkazu. Kuwaboresa wonse pano pa platform. Azawaboresa ati bwana machitako chani kuno kuchatiza 27 years.
Members of the news media have also not been spared. One very classic, or is it graphic example, is as the 2008 presidential election results were coming through at the Mulungushi International Conference Center in Lusaka. A British Broadcasting Corporation BBC reporter was almost eaten alive as he pursued the Cobra with questions on his tumbling to Rupiah Banda.
I've not bloody lost, so don't waste my time. I have not lost. How do I accept it when I've not lost? Those figures were not there in 2006.
So what are you going to do now?
But you are the reporter, ask them.
No, I'm asking you.
You are the bloody reporter, ask them. You are the so-called reporter, wasting taxpayers' money here. And you have got these inflated figures on which they say they are closing in.
Have you spoken to them about these figures then?
I'm giving to you. Go and speak to them. I'm hunting for them. They have run away.
What if you don't find them?
Go and find them. You are a reporter. That's your job. This bloody BBC, this is not Zimbabwe. This is what Dan Kalale, Venon Mwanga, and Bitachitala can do. And they expect that BBC comes to me. What do you do? They think I'm in Zimbabwe.
The Cobra's foul mouth goes back a long, long way, as evidenced by this man who worked at the Lusaka International Airport when the Cobra was governor of Lusaka in the mid-1980s.
He imported a stove from UK, and if you can remember those days, it was not easy for us to buy these commodities anyhow. You have to import even a TV, video, all those things. So Mr. Sata imported the stove. It was supposed to come on a flight. Yeah, it was put on a flight to arrive Zambia on Tuesday morning. So unfortunately, there was an accident at Konkola mine ZCCM. So that flight from UK was stopped in Amsterdam in order for them to put the medicine. Now that stove of Mr. Sata was among other goods on a pallet which was offloaded in Amsterdam, and it came to Zambia. But actually, the documents arrived minus cargo. That can happen. It's normal. When he arrived at the airport, he wanted to know. He was advised by the supplier that your stove was put on a flight and it is in Zambia. So he came to our place, and they showed him the documents from operations department. From there, he wanted to see the stove before he can do any other jobs. They went to the warehouse. They couldn't find the stove, so he started shouting at the people. He came to operations. He shouted, and then they said, "No, the best thing you can do, you go and see the brand manager." By then, our brand manager was Ellen Banda. Then he started shouting at her, and she cried. So from there, she had no choice but to introduce my. He was told to come and see me because I was in communication as a telex operator. So he came to my office. He greeted me. Then he said, "Look, these people, but now I stove. So I said, no, let me get in touch with UK. I got the documents. I telexed London office, Zamcargo. They said, no, this stove was offloaded in Amsterdam. If you can get in touch with Amsterdam. Immediately, I telexed Amsterdam. Amsterdam, they told me, no, this stove, this pallet, actually this pallet, it was a pallet, was offloaded here to be put on a Friday's flight. So the flight will arrive around 7 hours in the morning on Friday. The following from Friday, it was a Tuesday by then. So I told him, Mr. Sata, no, do you think it will come on a Friday? So come on Friday morning, you'll find your stove. Off you went. On Friday, early in the morning, he was at the airport waiting for us. We have to follow the normal channel. We have to wait. Zambia Airways by then to offload, then bring the pallet to us, hand over the things to us as agent. Him, instead of waiting, he went straight into National Air Charter's warehouse, forcing them to see the stove. And I said, no, just wait into to our place. We'll bring the stove. He couldn't listen, but he went straight until he saw the stove. Then is when he came back. So he wanted even to collect the stove from Zambia Airways, which is not a normal procedure, you see. Then I told him that, no, you come to the office, you have to pay tax before you collect your stove, and you have to pay our handling charges and Zambia Airways terminal charges. I recall the amount was 83 kwacha for handling and terminal charges. Then before he pays, you have to pay first tax, which I took the documents to our clearing department. Mr. Chavuta worked on the documents. He found that he has to pay 622 kwacha as tax. So I accompanied him. We went to customs. It started shouting, even the way he jokes. So he couldn't even pay the 622. He only threw the 200. That he can only pay 200. You see. So when he paid that 200, they couldn't write even a receipt. So they only decided to put him on a Form 50. Form 50, it's duty free, you see. And everybody was even, they were laughing, you see. This man, what type of a person is he? So from there, actually we were assisted by Mr. Chiponge. The late Chiponge was a customs officer by then. Then from there we came to our warehouse. Before the warehouse, we went to operations where I was supposed to pay 83 kwacha, being our handling and terminal charges. He didn't pay. He forced himself and he picked the stove without paying any our charges. If I can remember even today, that invoice is still pending. But anyway, it's a long time. That's how it happens. And he drove with the stove without paying anything.
The Cobra took off without paying anything. Now, if that is not stealing, then I do not know what is. He wants to be president of Zambia, yet he knows too well that he has such a murky past. That's of course apart from having a foul mouth. It is high time the Cobra came clean on so many things, and he must come to terms with the grim reality that he is headed for losing a fourth time. No matter how Namakando's Post try to rebrand him, they can even wash him in jik if they wish. The Cobra is destined to lose the fourth time. As for his mouth, well, his mouth, his greatest enemy.
They call others minions. I think there are more minions in the Post who would like to twist the facts.
Views and opinions expressed in the program were not and did not represent the views and opinions of ZNBC, but those of the producers.
For the bad loser that the Cobra is, he was terribly upset with Namakando's Post, who he accused of all sorts of things, including rigging.
The Post continues to be giving false reports, false rumors. The Post is not part of the Economic Commission, the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Where did they get the results to say MMD is going to get up to 86? How did they get the information, apart from the information which was fed to them by MMD? And they go again lying, because any experienced politician
that he had tumbled to Levi Mwanawasa and the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, for the very second time. On this day, he really had issues with Namakando's Post.
I take strong exception to the Post newspaper. Mr. Simon Zuka, Mr. Neil Simutani, and Professor Chanda. For the whole of September, they have been campaigning for MMD. The Post has issued negative stories, negative editorials. They even come and...
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are not and do not represent the views and opinions of ZNBC.
What I would like to remind my colleagues in the Post newspaper, they call others minions. I think there are more minions in the Post who would like to twist the facts.
The foul-mouthed Cobra, speaking at a media briefing on Saturday 30th September 2006, when it became crystal clear. It is a well-known fact that the Cobra does not play his politics well. For all the time he gets into a presidential race, he cheats himself that he has already won, underrating everyone else. This is a man who actually does not know whether he is coming or going, and he seems not to realize that his mouth always puts him in trouble. Yes, his mouth, his greatest enemy.